Record. All right. Good morning and happy Friday, everyone. Thank you so much for being on our Producer's Mindset. I have the honor and the privilege to have a fantastic, amazing producing agent, Katrina Matthews, in the house. Hey, Katrina, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Doing well.
Fantastic.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes. So we have a level of all different production in the Zoom right now, Katrina. So let's dive right in and talk about a little bit about yourself. So tell us, Katrina, who is Katrina Matthews?
Ooh, right. If you Google, you would find that Katrina Matthews is actually a triathlete that
Yes.
has been.
That's true. That is true.
I get Google alerts for her and I root her on, but seriously, Katrina Matthews, the realtor, is actually a Los Angeles-based real estate agent who works for and with Keller Williams currently down in the South Bay. I have an extensive history in real estate. I can go back to infancy if possible, but to move this along, I've done just about all kinds of factions of real estate, including commercial real estate, dabbled in international real estate, of course, residential or resi commercial, as they call it. I like when people say that they did short sales in the past, and I'm like, oh, that's wonderful. We all did short sales when the crash happened in 2008, 2009, right?
Right.
Which is good, but I was I should say the only realtor who did short sales who was interviewed by the Los Angeles Times. So when you do short sales and I do short sales, we're a little different probably. You've probably done a couple, which is great. I've done over 100. So I know very much well how to handle a very, very tough transaction. And I would say to some of my clients, residential real estate currently is a piece of cake compared to the stuff that I've done in the past. So I've done it for about, what are we on, 15, 16 years we're celebrating doing real estate here.
How fun.
Long time.
Yeah, so short sales. Yeah, I do remember short sales, and I was never really involved. I would delegate it to the people that were really good at doing it. It's just so tedious, time consuming. And it was back and forth with the asset managers and the banks, and the discouragement sometimes, and it's just the fallouts as well too, because not all went through. So it needed to be someone that was really deep into the understanding, right, of how to navigate those short sales to get the approval. So we, as real estate professionals, we can close out those deals.
Absolutely. And at one point, when you're working so hard on these things, I mean, I used to wake up at 6 a.m. and start at home with calls to New York and Florida. And then finally, I would drag myself into the office over in Manhattan Beach and then continue the calls until I left, probably about 6 or 7 that night. And so it got to a point where I had to start to figure out a better, quicker way, more efficient way of getting short sales done. And I had actually phone numbers to the back offices at B of A and Wells Fargo. I even went to so Wells Fargo was on a lot of second loans. And I got so good with these, and they're not asset managers. They're more like, they're more of the loss prevention kind of managers, which is a little bit different than an asset manager. And I got so good at it that I actually went to the Wells Fargo loss prevention manager's wedding over in Iowa, where they're based at. So we're still friends today. It doesn't work at Wells Fargo anymore, but that's how good I am. Still am, honey.
So what got you involved in that? Let's go back and let's go deep in that conversation. Why short sales at the time? And then we'll talk about what's going on right now.
Well, the market was pivoting. I used to work in for Remax. That's where I started my career, over in Manhattan Beach. They had an office on Longfellow, if anybody remembers that office, over on Longfellow and Sepulveda, where the business, the medical complex is. And in that office, folks like Sherry Farron was in that office. I mean, just old school. I think even Michelle Brown was probably in that office back then. And what I did was REOs. So I worked for a broker who, I mean, this guy was an old school Brooklyn guy who spoke Russian, and he used to sit on the phone and have these conversations with these asset managers, and I used to just soak up that information, and he was just the coolest guy, and we got REO after REO after REO. Every day we were getting a new listing, and so I was just soaking up that information. And so when the federal government decided to do something about these REOs, which was the Obama administration, they came out with two programs, HAFA and HAMP. One was a modification program and one was a kind of clear-cut short sale program. And when those started to roll out, the owners of RE/MAX, Sanders, came to me and said, hey, we heard that you did REOs. We know you're in that office down there in Manhattan Beach for us. We went to Texas and we found out that short sales are going to be the new thing. We have no idea what those are. So I said, well, I have no idea either. Yeah. They said, well, you know how to do complicated real estate, so why don't you give it a try? And it took them about a month to convince me to leave my cushy gig in Malaga Cove to come down to Manhattan Beach and start to do short sales on behalf of all 14 of their offices at the time. So yeah, I closed 99% of them.
That's awesome. Yeah. And then that kind of pivot to helping other people too as well, right? Because everyone was reaching out to you saying, well, I've heard, Katrina, you are the short sale specialist. Can you help me close the deal?
Yeah, so I would get agents who would come to me who had no idea what they were doing. They didn't know how to shift. There wasn't technology as readily available as it is now, where they can just go on a YouTube channel and kind of figure things out. And so they would come to me and say, hey, my client's in trouble. I don't know how to handle this. I know you handle this. What do we do? And I developed this program in order to streamline the process, in order to get, from client talking to ultimately close after a few months. So
yeah, it
was trial and error, to be honest. I mean, nobody knew what to do. Kind of like this market, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's dive into the conversation, go back to 2020, how did that impact your business and what did you do to pivot?
So when 2020 hit, I remember I was now you guys got to understand, I'm a storyteller. And the reason why I'm a storyteller is because I think it helps you remember, right? So I will be telling you stories. I did not get up early to BS around. But when 2020 hit, I remember I was at my office in Redondo Beach and I was with Rick Trevino. You remember Rick, right?
I do remember. Yes.
So Rick was a KW agent as well. And we were both at this office and we would be working. And we got a phone call from our broker that said, the offices are shutting down. This COVID thing is real. We need to all leave the offices. We're locking up. And so he had got his wine of the month club and he popped it open and said, let's cheers to the end of the world, I guess. I said, okay, that's what we're doing. And we didn't know when we would ever see each other again. And so we had a nice drink of wine and we locked doors for the last time and we both went home, and that office sat empty and dark like many offices, right? During the pandemic. And I remember one day reaching out and saying to my broker, like, no one's in the office, so doesn't that mean I'm kind of safe if I go in, And they said, well, it's up to you, but you probably shouldn't go in. So of course I went in, and it was a great opportunity for me to begin to shift and pivot based on the big unknown. Like, we never knew what was going to happen, right? We had no idea. And so at the time I had 0 to no clients. Again, this was only 2 years ago. I had 0 no clients. I had a big office. I was sitting there. Clients didn't know whether they should buy. Sellers didn't know whether they should sell. So what I did was I spent that time preparing for whatever was to come, whether it be shorts, whether it be regular real estate, whether people started buying again. I just started preparing. And what I did was I went into the office 4 times a week, and I would stay 8 hours a day during the pandemic. And so I utilized the fact that no one was in the building in quiet time in order to really hone into my business and determine where this was going to go, right? And so from that, I squeezed and became what is my real estate talk show that I started to do every Sunday. I swear I was laying in bed on a Sunday and Sunday afternoon, and I said, this feels wrong. This doesn't feel right. I don't know what's happening. The world is shut down, but I can't sit still and not do anything. And I literally put my makeup on, threw on an outfit, and I went to the office, and it was about 7 p.m. at night on a Sunday. I opened the doors, turned on all the lights. I sat there and I turned on a camera and I started talking. So that's how I started to pivot. What I wanted to do was give news about real estate to those that didn't know what was going to happen with real estate. And the reason why I did that, because no one else was doing that, right? So your coach would say, go to where your competitors are not. So what I did is I went online and I started giving information that was not COVID related whatsoever. I never taught COVID. What I did was I said, here's what's going on the market. Here's what we can do. We can still show property, but we're going to have to glove and mask up. We can still do this and still do that. And sure enough, the phone started ringing, right? Hey, Kat, I saw your video. We can still see property? Well, yeah. Well, I want to see this property. And from there, it snowballed into more people wanting to see because they just didn't know. The public didn't have information on how real estate was going to look. So that's how I started to transition.
Yeah, that's awesome. And there was a lot of people that survived, the pandemic, and there was a lot of people, and when I say people, agents leave the industry as well because they were afraid of the pandemic, which was perfectly fine. But the agents that ended up, sticking around are the ones that made, very good production and very good money as well.
Absolutely. And I think one of the polls I saw was a lot of agents did leave. But then we also gained a lot of agents, right? There was a lot of people who were soul searching and determining that they needed a career change. And what they wanted to do was, hey, I've always wanted to get my real estate license, where here I go. So I think just about the same number of agents that left, we got an influx of new agents coming in, which to me was very, very interesting. A lot of agents became very afraid of all these new agents. Oh, my son's a realtor now. My dog's a realtor. My uncle's left foot got his license and is a realtor. And so now we're up against all this competition, right? How do you pivot and change from that? And so that was something that agents were missing. They could not understand how to shift. Now, those that have been in real estate for forever and a day know how to shift, right? You shift with anything in life. You get by shifting. Things go in waves, and as long as you can kind of ride that wave like a surfboard, right, you'll be fine. And so the agents that were able to ride that wave were fine. Agents that couldn't do it essentially drowned. They sunk, right?
Right.
So it was all about shifting.
Absolutely. So what is your primary focus right now? What do you focus on most? Is it buyers, sellers, investors, or a combination of everything?
Negative. It is a customer experience that I'm focused on.
Love that.
What the thing that sets, I would say, me and my team apart is the story that in a seller's market, we had more buyers, and every single one of those buyers were able to close escrow after submitting at least 2 offers.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to be an agent and a seller's market and be a listing agent. All you do is put it on the market and the offers roll in and you navigate, you close, big deal. But if you're a buyer's agent and a seller's market, you are a different kind of agent, in my opinion. You understand the very, very heart of real estate and how to navigate it. That's a special kind of talent that not many people have, being a buyer's agent, a successful buyer's agent, and a selling market. Now, if it ever becomes a buyer's market, I will be a very successful listing agent in a buyer's market. I'm very confident.
No, you definitely are, and you're very professional, but you also understand the elements of the process, and more so you understand contracts. I know
Oh,
because I see the emails when we're in disputes. I see the back and forth, and obviously you know what you know, right?
oh
And
yes,
that's
I know how to write a strongly worded letter.
right.
Absolutely. But that comes from my background. Let's go back a little bit. So before the market crashed, I was actually headed to law school. I was doing all my classes. My best friends were my teachers, my instructors. I was spending lots of hours down at the law library, downtown LA on Hill Street. I was in the Torrance courthouse with Commissioner Carnahan with his cases. I mean, I was a legal ego. I still am. I mean, most of my books are law books at home. They're not even real estate books. They're law books. And so I am a ABA certified paralegal, or I should say accredited paralegal. So yeah, I have a legal background. So that's why I write the way I write when you see my writing. It's, yeah.
No, it's great. It's great because one, the importance in understanding, right? And not to say that we're giving any type of legal advice, but understanding the real estate contracts, the purchase agreements, the listing agreements, then you know how to navigate those conversations when someone is not following the rules, right?
It's
And
not even just that, Simon. It's like, I know exactly, you have to have a deeper understanding of the law to understand how not to cross the law,
correct.
right? So I know exactly how to pivot when a person asks me. I mean, we get tax questions all the time. You know who that goes to? Your tax expert. That doesn't come to me,
Yeah,
right? So it's like stuff like that. You got to understand the law enough to not cross those borders.
right, exactly. So what I see a lot from you, Katrina, is consistency and deals closing left and right, new listings coming soon. So tell me and tell the audience how's that? How are you getting all this business? What are you doing to cultivate so much?
I think that's why everybody woke up this morning. They want to hear that story. How the hell is she doing it? Excuse my French. I can tell you this, and I'm going to be straightforward, okay? What I have seen, first of all, I'm a great listener. I listen a lot. I do talk a lot, but I also listen. I listen intently and deeply because I need to understand things. That's just the way my mind works. But what I have seen is clients that come to me who have had other realtors in the past feel comfortable enough sharing their experience with me in regards to who they work with. And it's not necessarily a first time, I shouldn't say a first time home buyer. It's not necessarily a newer, greener agent. 9 times out of 10, it's actually a seasoned agent that they've had in the past, and here they are with me. And I always wonder, well, why'd you come back to me? Why didn't you go back to your agent? So I know what agents are out there doing a great job of looking busy, but not being very busy. Because what they're doing is they're very much posting on social media. I closed this, won this, and this, and this, and this. But when you come down to it and you talk to their client is going to say, I can never get them on the phone. I had no idea what was going on from week to week. We said that we did not want to sign documents at the last minute. They kept sending us documents at the last minute. It's all those little things that, when you're not listening to your clients, those things are going to add up. Of course, you'll end up getting it closed, but guess what? You will not have a repeat client, and then you're going to have to go out and look for more business. It is better to have 200 clients that you can love on and do a really great job on than a million clients trying to get $1 million from them. Okay, it's very much more important. So that's essentially what I do. And I think it's because knowing that it is a legal process, knowing that it is very important to them, it's their life saving, it's the biggest transaction they're going to make in their life, right? Buying property. Knowing this information and taking it to heart is probably the biggest reason why I get so many referrals. I am a referral-based business at the moment. I have not made one phone call, to be honest with you. Sorry, but I have not done that. I have not knocked on any doors. I have not given anybody any random flyers, any new grocery marks. I have not advertised. What I did was I said, okay, how can I make my dollars that I'm making work for me? by using the least amount of money as possible. That's what you want to do. You want to leverage and you want to use the least amount of money as possible in order to get your clientele. And the way you do that is simply hard work. You work hard for them and your clients will 100% refer you to someone else, right? And then also, don't be afraid to ask for referrals. After you close a transaction, the first thing you should be doing is, hey, how did I do? Let me know, give me some feedback. I mean, that's the ultimate way to show your client that not only that you cared during the transaction, but you cared after the fact. And that word of mouth will carry on over and over and over again. I have gotten to the point where I do not go on listing appointments. When I go on listing appointments, it's not my typical, I'm going in and then I have Bill, whoever coming out and we're just passing by and we're all trying to get the same listings. We're not doing that anymore, doing that. By the time I get in front of a seller, they already know that they need me and they already know they're going to hire me. Same thing with buyers. I used to give these speeches when I used to work for, I don't even know who at this moment, but I used to say, you know, you need to be the honeycomb where the bees come to. You can either be that person or you can have a net and try to go after every single bee and try to get this transaction, that transaction, or you can attract, right? So there's a different way that I do things. I attract the business. And the way I do it is by speaking and by listening. Okay, speaking meaning telling people about the real estate market, but not aggressively. Listening by saying, what are your needs? What else can I help you with? What else can I do? One thing that I do when I go on a listing, I should say when I go get a contract signed, one thing that I do is this. Where are you going? What's the plan? Where are you moving to? Okay, are we going to getting a lease? Are you moving out of state? What's happening? And just by asking those key questions to your clients, they're going to understand that you are a different kind of agent who just didn't get their license yesterday. You understand. Okay. So to answer your question, it's the customer. It is the customer experience. I know that the Team Echo just had a thing on that, right?
Yeah.
It's very true. It is customer experience.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the reason you're getting all these referrals. Yeah.
Absolutely. And doing a very, very good job. There are a lot of lazy agents out there. You're getting called out lazy agents. But that's actually good if you're not a lazy agent, because you're going to be the difference between, right? So don't be lazy. Get up and do the work. Don't cut corners. I know a lot of agents who are out there posting a lot on social media about their sales. Again, I hear from their clients later on how they didn't do termite work or they didn't do this and that, but they look really good, you know, posting their sales. And it's like, yay, chin up, buddy, I've done it. But, you know, you go ask their customers, well, how'd you like them? So that's not repeat business. And that's what you want. You want that repeat business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, good information. Awesome. So talk to us, ever since you came back to Keller Williams, you started a team. How's that? And how impactful has it helped you and your team members?
You know, I did not want to start a team. I got to be honest with you. At the very beginning, I was very weary of starting a team. And I'm going to tell you something that Jeff Anderson said to me very long ago. I sat down with Jeff and I said, Jeff, what's the one thing that I should be doing that I'm not doing right now? And he said, you need to get an assistant. And I said, bull butter, I'm going to start a team. And he said, all right, good luck. And I said, all right, bye, Jeff, bye, Kat. And I went and started a team. And that was a complete failure. I mean, that was not the right way to go. I thought I was going to teach and learn and do and grow, and it just didn't work that way. So then I go back to Jeff and I say, damn it, I should have listened to you. I mean, yeah. So what I did it right. I got an assistant, and being able to delegate and take a lot of things off my plate was then the aha moment that I needed to then, okay, now you can start a team. And so now that I do have a team, it's been wonderful because I get to pass on the information and the knowledge to the folks that are actually interested. And I love giving knowledge out. And so it's been great. I mean, we are killing it. I thought that we were just going to sell a bunch of real estate and have a lot of fun and have maybe a couple of summer months off, but dude, we are busy. We are very, very, very busy. So it's been outstanding. One thing I do want to mention is this. When I have a client, either buyer or seller, I do not take everybody. I have fired sellers in a seller's market this year. I mean, I'm talking about a seller who had a portfolio of properties who wanted me to sell 2 duplexes and 2 single family residences. And we went back and forth for a while, and then I ultimately fired them. And the reason why I did so was because they weren't realistic, you know, in every single way. They wanted commission cuts and they wanted this, and it was going to be difficult, and it was probate involved and this and that. And I looked at my time and I said, okay, now I can dedicate X amount of hours to this, so to a completely unreasonable person, or I can go and work with buyers and sellers who actually get it, who have a goal, and help them reach that goal. And so it was very nice to write that email of thank you, but no, thank you, but no, thank you. You can't afford me. I can tell every realtor out there, you've got to know your worth, and then you got to add tax, because I can tell you this, you can get that one buyer who is sort of going to buy and who's going to drag you around for months, never purchase anything, and then where did your time go? You could have been dialing for dollars or door knocking or meeting, kissing babies or whatever, but here you are with this one client. So you got to pivot from that difficult client quite quickly, right? So know your worth, know what your time is worth.
You know, it's so funny, Katrina, because it's so true. And a lot of real estate agents don't have that same mindset. You know, opportunities are out there if you're doing the activities, right? Opportunities are out there if you're doing, you know, conversations, context, what we say, right?
Yeah.
And agents, for some odd reason, they just will discount, drag themselves, and then ultimately get discouraged and disappointed because they went all in with this client, you know, knowing that there was going to be some issues, right? And that's sometimes hard for a lot of real estate agents, is because they're not doing a lot of activities. They feel that they have to, you know, service this client. And that's where you see, I'll be the first one, you know, starting in the real estate industry, you know, many years ago. That was me. I was not pre-qualifying people and just driving around showing homes and realizing that they did not qualify. They had that they wanted to buy something, but they did not qualify. And now I take necessary steps, right? I ask very good questions. So that way we're not wasting each other's time. And the beauty is we can leverage ourselves, because if they're not ready at that point in time, okay, maybe it's a credit issue, maybe financial, maybe you can bring someone else that can help you with the income. I mean, there's so many variables. But going back to what you were saying too, Katrina, the importance in understanding that you do not have to take all the clients, right? Especially unrealistic clients, sellers, thinking that their home is 2 million, but in essence, it's only worth 900,000, right? It's where they're living in fantasy line. And why would you put time, effort, and energy on something that you know it's not going to sell? And now you have spent marketing money to help that client, but in essence, the property is not selling. And more so right now, your skill sets are important, your data is very important, and how you navigate those objection handlers too as well, which is very important.
And you know what it is that I've discovered is having those tough conversations is still a tough thing for agents to do. I 1000% set expectations 24 hours after they sign by a broker or listing agreement. They get an email from me. It says, hi, welcome, congratulations, we're about to do this. And I have all of my expectations set up in the beginning. For example, I work a 9 to 5 business day hour, okay? I mean business day, 9 to 5, which means at 8:30, I'm not gonna be looking at your phone call or your email. And then after 6, I'm not gonna be looking at it. And I tell my clients that up front, and a lot of agents have a problem of setting those boundaries with their clients. I do this, and here's the reason why I do it. One, I have to be so on it in order to navigate and negotiate a deal for you, which means at some point I'm going to need to rest, rejuvenate, calm my mind, read some books, listen to a podcast, eat, walk, have family time. I'm going to need to do all this. So, because I want to ensure that you are going to get the best experience possible. A weary agent is not a good agent. And also a needy agent is not needed. Okay. So if you're going around and you are desperately looking for your next deal, that desperation, you can smell it on you. Nobody wants a desperate, needy agent. Those people will be out of the industry in about a year. We won't have those people anymore. You've got to be a cool, collective agent who sets boundaries, who understands that this is a team effort and that we're all going to get through this together, but only if. I see some agents on some of those realtor Facebook groups saying that they answer the phone at 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night. I do if I am negotiating. When I am negotiating, I will be on the phone. I mean, I could tell you some stories where we went back and forth at 11 o'clock at night, and finally, he signs the contract, sends it over, and I can tell my client in the morning they got the house. But I leave that for a special time. But other than that, it's a 9 to 5. We're done. And if you set those expectations, you can turn over listings and buyers quite quickly because you have that downtime. Your body is going to need that time to relax, rejuvenate, et cetera, et cetera. And if you're not doing that and not taking care of yourself, you're going to get very burnt out in this industry. And then an agent like me is going to come in, going to get on the other side of the deal and destroy you. So you need to make sure that you are fresh, cool, calm, and collected and ready for the day. Every single day. Every good athlete has a coach, right? Okay, I'm gonna be your coach for a minute. Okay, they have speech pathologists to help you with speech. The athletes have shooting coaches for basketball players, baseball coaches. There's coaches for everything in life. I would highly suggest if you were a new realtor out there, grab a coach. Grab a coach, do coaching for a very small amount of time if need be, but grab a coach, have somebody there who's going to push you on the things that you need to be pushed on. And of course, the first thing is understanding what you need to be pushed on. What do you need? What do you need in order to service your clients the way you should?
The accountability, right? Holding
Your
you
accountability
accountable.
Coach. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Awesome. Well, Katrina, I'm going to open it up, excuse me, to anyone that has any specific questions for Katrina. So take it away. Any questions for Katrina?
And I can start talking while you guys start thinking of questions if you like.
Emilio says, thank you so much. Great information. Nicole says, love the positive energy and confidence. Katrina, definitely reaching out. You're a gem. And thank you so much for dropping some advice. So, well, very good. I don't think I have any other questions for you, Katrina.
Well,
I want to interject.
Oh.
This Steve here.
Hey, what's up, Steve?
Katrina and I worked together for a few years, and I am just so thrilled to be able to see the journey that she's been on after she and I had worked together. You know, I'm kind of hoping that maybe I taught her a thing or two, at least on contracts a little bit, and hopefully I think she took a little bit of that away, you know, on her journey. But you know, watching Kat's businesses take off like an eagle has just been so enjoyable. So congrats out there, Kat.
Oh, thank you so much, Steve. It's good to hear from you. I want to tell you guys a couple of stories, a really fun story. There was an agent who's in this office, who's a top producer, won't mention their name. And before I left KW the first time, they came over and they said, hey, Kat, why don't you join my team? I have this team I'm trying to grow, XYZ, why don't you join? And I said, I asked a couple of questions, and those hard, good questions. And they said, okay, well, I said, well, I kind of want to do my own thing. I'm kind of pivoting, trying to figure out where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do. And that agent looked at me and said, well, first, Kat, you got to get into production. And I said, okay. And then he said, second, you got to get your name out there. You got to get working. And I said, okay, I got to get my name out there and I got to get into production. Great. So we shook hands, we left the meeting and we went on. The next time I saw that agent, I went over to them and I showed them my phone. I went and I brought up this article from the LA Times. And I said, is this what you mean about getting your name out there? He looked at me and said, what the you were in the LA Times Business Journal? And I said, well, you said get my name out there. I did what you said. And that agent just looked at me and said, holy crap. And I just thought, okay, I think I might be on the right track, And he's like, how the heck did you do that? And I said, well, I pivoted. You got to shift in this market. If you're not shifting with the market, you're doing it wrong. If you're not, listen, right. One thing that's happening in the South Bay is the South Bay is a very, of course, hyper local real estate area, right?
Right.
But one thing that I've seen in the South Bay that we don't utilize is the fact that, we live in LA, right? I think we forget sometimes that we live in Los Angeles. This place is absolutely gorgeous. It's amazing. The sunset yesterday, the sunrise this morning, everything about this place is amazing. And what we forget is to sell the experience of this place. And one thing the South Bay does not do that I would like to see more realtors do is utilize the fact that, damn it, we're in LA. So when you were walking through the office, okay, when you were going to a listing appointment, when you were talking to clients, when you were communicating and interacting with the public, you need to be presented. You need to be representing yourself and your industry. Do you see what I'm wearing at 8 o'clock in the morning, a green chiffon situation? Some of you agents come in the office and you're wearing a Dunder Mifflin t-shirt, okay? You gotta present, you gotta show them that you were on it, you know what you're doing, and that you are here to represent them. This is Los Angeles, guys. We need to wake up. This whole cool, beachy, cool lifestyle is fun, but do you really want that guy representing your Esplanade property, right? Comes in wearing the shorts and, he's down at Tower 12 every Friday night. You don't want that guy, okay? You can do that on your own time. Somebody said fire. Yes, fire. But it's true. Let's start presenting and let's understand that we live in Los Angeles. I can't tell you how many of my clients are celebrities now. Look, I work with people. So we need to present that we are who we are, right? And we're not doing that here. We're coming in, we're wearing flip-flops and no, we're not doing our hair. We're not showing up for the interview. Show up. Don't be out all night drinking, and stop posting your drinks of you and your friends, tossing them back on social media. Some things don't need to go on social media. Keep that to yourself. Do that in your spare time. If you ever look at my social media, you will never see me in a photo with 10,000 other women behind me and a hot bikini posting, talking about summertime sadness or whatever the hell. I'm not doing that stuff. You know why? Because my clients are looking at me. And it's hard enough doing this as it is, right? So that's why I'm not on there drinking. I told my clients, you will never see me doing that. I will happily have a beer with you, but I present when I am out. I talk in a certain way and I present in a certain way. If you come to that, I tell you every single time, people die for my business. I'm so glad you're my realtor. I'm so lucky to be working with you. Yeah. Because I'm showing up for you and I represent my client, okay? So I want, yes, Facebook is your resume. Thank you, Miss Upchurch. We just did a deal on Menifee. She's wonderful. But yes, you got to present, okay? I want to see you guys presenting.
Beautiful.
Okay, that's all I got to say. Do a better job at it.
Absolutely, 100%. Katrina, thank you so much. It was an honor, and keep rocking it. Appreciate you. Appreciate everyone on the call, and have a phenomenal afternoon and a fantastic weekend. It's summer, guys, so enjoy.
Go
Thanks
sell
again,
something.
Katrina, and
Go sell it, honey. Cheers.
Awesome. Thank you, Katrina.
You're welcome. Bye, Simon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Katrina.
All right, Kim, thank you.